Good afternoon and God's blessings to you, soldiers of the Lord, those who are trusting God with your whole lives, raising up your faith to Him, and just believing that He is God over all. God bless you. I pray your day is wonderfully blessed and that you are finding your peace in Him, because truly He is the one that is sustaining you, and He's the one that is keeping you every day and all throughout your day. We absolutely cannot do anything except that God's hand is in it. And so it behooves us to really strive and grow in our faith towards God and our faithfulness towards God, because He controls every single thing that is happening around you, even when you're not thinking about it, even the things that you don't think that His hand is in. Everything around you, in and around you, is touched by God. And so we're striving as sons of God to learn to increase our faith, to go higher in our faith in God, and to get closer to God. One of the Proverbs, and I really can't quote it because we know the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, but there's one of the Proverbs that talks about how valuable the fear of the Lord is for everything that we are, learning that He should be in all of our thoughts, not just as a point of endearment, but that fearing God and knowing God and having a reverence for Him and acknowledging that He is Lord. He's doing this. He's doing everything. When you keep your mind on that and you begin to become one with Him and draw nearer to Him in your heart and your mind, then as you're acknowledging Him in everything that you do, He is going to give you thoughts that are going to direct the things that you are going to do next. Your instructions are going to be led by Him. Your decision making is going to be led by Him. And as you go throughout your day, your thoughts concerning God are going to be circumspect, are going to be considerate of how He's moving and what He is doing. That's going to protect your whole life. And one of the blessed things about that is that God is protecting you more than you realize. He's in so much as He's doing so much. As you're inside of Christ, you got to know that there are many people, thousands upon thousands of people who are outside of Christ, but you're in Him. And so He's very particular about His beloved. He's very attentive about your life and everything that pertains to you. And so we know that God's glory defends His church and His people. His glory is what moves throughout the earth. His glory is His power. It is His strength. His glory is the essence of His presence in the earth. And He's very much in your atmosphere. When I was little, I've heard it very much, that He's omnipotent, which is all powerful, omnipresent, omniscient. So the omnipresent is what I wanted to bring up. God is omnipresent. He's everywhere. He is all that. And that used to confuse me. Like, how is God everywhere? Because of course, as humans, as people, how I can't be anywhere all at once. I used to always feel like, man, I just wish there were two of me that can do that over there, or one of me that can do that over there that really needs to get done, and the other part of me that needs to be right here doing this right here, because I have so much to do. So our minds think like that. When it comes to the Lord, we have to know that His glory is what His presence is. So Him being everywhere all the time is not just the filling of the gaps of the atmosphere. He is the animate and I'm sorry, I'm talking too fast today. He is the animate and inanimate objects. He is that which is living, that which is breathing, that which is all created around you. The things that you don't even think that God is a part of, it's God. It's Him. He's doing it. He's in it. Every matter, every atom is the Lord. And that can be very strange in our minds. I don't want to sound like strange talk. But what I do want to exemplify and present before you is that God's glory is expansive. His glory is what does the work that guides your life, that surrounds you, that protects your world, that decides how things are happening all around you, all throughout your day, every single day. And we need faith in order to come in alignment with that. We need our faith, and as we talked about a couple weeks ago, the anointing of God on our lives to work alongside of what God is doing. You need your heart and your mind to be in it, to be considerate of it, to be understanding and grow in understanding as to how God moves and how He wants you to move alongside of, with, laboring with, co-laboring with God, not kicking against the pricks, not working against what he's doing, but that your heart can be in what he's doing, and not just so that you can be acceptable to him. Yes, be acceptable to God, but he's doing so much, and he's doing a lot, so much on your behalf, more than what you know. So as you raise your faith, as you are stronger in your faith towards God, as you believe him more deeply according to his word, and as you strive in him daily, and you grow in faith, you're taking in more of his word. He's unlocking understanding. He is digging wells of knowledge and wisdom deeper into your soul, to where you are understanding more of who he is. And so we need that, because the more I understand, the more there's a door, an effectual door open to me for me to walk through concerning God, concerning who he is and how he works. And the more I know those things, who he is and how he works, not just on the superficial level, but deeper levels, then that's going to help me know who I am in the grand scheme of things. Oh, okay, God is God? Whoa. Well, then who am I? He loves me. He chose me. He handpicked me. He put his oil on me. He gave me these dreams. He showed me these things. He said this to me. Whoa. Okay. This God, this great big God, is doing great things right here. So that then should orchestrate how I think. It should begin to shape out why I will or will not do something. It should begin to carve out my desires and help lead my purposes forward. The knowledge of God in respect to the knowledge of me in God is to now teach me how to live. Teach me what life is, and how I'm supposed to govern my life and my world, and how my faith in God is to go forward in all of those things. Because again, he's protecting you and I. He's doing in our lives so much more, grander than what we think. And the more that he's doing, the greatness that he's doing is affecting more than just you. It's affecting the whole world around you. Why else would the scriptures say that the whole earth is groaning? It's just waiting for the sons of God to rise. That tells you that the whole creation is centered around God and who he's focused on. And that's man. Those who are really striving to please him, and those that love him, those that are in him, those that are the sons of God. The earth is paying attention to you. The earth has to acknowledge God in you. The earth has to obey what God is saying concerning you, because God is in everything. And so that is a marvelous truth, a marvelous truth. It should give you such great peace. It should give you such great settlement. It should give you a fervency in your heart to just continue to press into God and to love him. It should really settle your fears, especially when you don't know things, the unknown about your future, or how things are going to pan out, or what people are going to think about you. The fact that you're in God, and God is expansive, his glory is so much, and he's for you. You're favored by God. Come on now. You can right now in your place just do a whole praise break, just because you know who he is. Just because you know that God is, and that God who is the great I am is focused on you. He's focused on you. And the whole world has to be attention to that. Pay attention. The whole world has to know that. The world has to respond to that truth. So God is true and every man a liar, right? He is truth, capital T, truth. God's word is truth. Everything that issues forth out of his mouth is the truth of God. And how about the fact that you were created out of the issuing forth of his mouth? So you are a part of that truth that is in the earth, released by God, so that heaven and earth can respond to God's truth accordingly. So as you align your faith in that, like raise up higher, take your mind into what God is saying, and be founded, rooted, and grounded in that truth, the more your life is going to be ordered accordingly. The more your whole mind, body, and soul is going to be settled, because you'll be understanding more and more that God is, and what that means. It is 2 words, God is. God is. Just those 2 words are so simple and yet so expansive. And so our faith has to line up with that. Joshua, in the book of Joshua, he was given some strong instruction. And one of those big instructions is for us in Joshua chapter 1, verse 6. He says, be strong and of a good courage. That's it. I was going to read more, but I want to say that because it was so interesting to me. One of my testimonies of this past weekend, maybe over the last 3 days, I was walking through my home, and this may happen to you all the time. It may be small to you, but in my mind, I think I don't know what I was thinking about or what was happening. I've had a very busy week. The last 7-8 days, very busy week. So I don't know what was on my mind, but in my thoughts kept replaying, be strong and of good courage. I didn't realize that was in my mind. I don't think I was singing a song that says it. I may have, but I hadn't heard the song. So I don't know if there was a song or just thoughts, but I know that statement was just going through my mind. And I didn't even realize it was going through my mind. I'm walking through my downstairs and I go upstairs in order to do something in my room. And then as I bend the corner, I hear out down the hallways out of somebody else's room, the Bible playing. And as soon as my mind said, be strong and of good courage, then the Bible repeated, be strong and of good courage. I said, whoa. Because what was being said in my mind was now said outside of my body. And then it started replaying that statement had been playing over and over and over in my mind, whether it was a statement or a song. And then the Lord wanted to just emphasize, hey, you're not paying attention to what's I'm putting in your head. You're not paying attention. So let me just line it up with what's going on right here. I was in awe, like, oh, whoa, wow, okay, yes. But why? What's happening? Am I afraid? Is there something that I feel weak about? And then I had to consider, what is God speaking to? What does he want me to know? And then as I consider even the testimony that I gave you last week concerning years ago, probably around 2004, 2005, the prophecy that was given to me concerning not being afraid concerning a lack of provision, then I remembered, because back then when I heard that prophetic word, I did not have fear of provision. I wasn't afraid of having lack. I didn't feel like that word pertained to me until years later it did. Because the moment that I began to feel gripped and trapped in my hopelessness concerning that area of my life in something that we were trying to accomplish or just needed to be steady in, then the Lord brought back those moments. Remember what I said to you? Oh, yeah, that applies. My word is truth. When I release it, it's like energy. It's not created or destroyed. It's for you, and it is continually for you, over you, reigning over you, as though I said it the first time. I am the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. What I release over you is the release. I received that. So then, as last few days, as I'm thinking, I don't know what I'm thinking about, and I hear those words just in a short split second, be strong and of good courage, not realizing that I had been hearing it in a cycle. And then right after that, hearing it outside of my body down the hallway as the Bible is playing through, I had no idea. My ears just keened into it, just honed into it. My ears just opened up to be able to hear that. And it came right after that. So I'm not afraid. I don't feel weak. Be strong, of good courage. I don't feel that. But the Lord was showing me, listen, this is the word that I'm releasing over you going forward. This is your word. It could be later in the day. It could be later in your weekend. It could be later in your week. It could be later throughout your life. I want you to know this is the word that I'm speaking over you. Yeah. I need you to know what your stance has to be in me concerning faith continually. Yes, and I like that. As Sister Precious says, just like Peter, the Lord knows what you're going to walk into. He knows what you're going to come into, what's ahead of you. And he loves his sons and his daughters so much that He understands how earth has to respond to you, but you have to make sure in your heart, mind, and soul that you are not going against what the Lord is doing, that you have to stay in alignment. So he's going to release his word over you to ensure that you do. Oh, no. You don't know what's ahead, but I'm letting you know this has to be your footing. This has to be your stance. It has to be your stance and your footing now. It has to be your stance and your footing tomorrow and going forward. So Joshua, I had not read this. I mean, obviously we've read the Bible, but I was not in Joshua a few days ago. So that wasn't something on my mind at all. But as I'm reading it today, I was reminded of the testimony. Actually, to be honest, I was just reminded of it just now as we're talking. But Joshua chapter 1, he says, be strong and of good courage. The Lord is telling Joshua that. He knows what Joshua has experienced, so he knows how he's wanting to secure Joshua in what he's spoken over him and what he's positioned him to do and to be even now with all of the children of Israel. And then going forward, the Lord knows what Joshua is to encounter throughout his life, how he is to lead, how he is to have his stance, what his faith needs to look like. And he understands what words need to carry him through each matter going forward. And so he releases that over Joshua. And I find that to be wonderful because as Joshua is having to do more than just governing a people, he has so much to conquer and to take territory with beyond that with the people. And he's just one man. And the Lord within that promise, within that word that he released to Joshua, that truth, he also tells him, I'm going to place a fear, a reverence, an honor, a respect in the people, in you like they had in Moses. I'm going to show them who you are. I'm going to reveal to them how much you are in me and I am in you so that they don't question. Because I know they can be fearful. Because within yourself, you know how it is. You feel like you're just a person. I don't know. Maybe you are in a different place in your mind and your heart. But sometimes you feel like you're just a person. And generally speaking, you are just an individual, just like that one over there. Except you're not. So sometimes I can feel as though I am an individual person that just has a job to do. And so I'm like, Lord, please be with me as I do this job. God, please help me. I got to do this next. Yes, I know you've done it 100,000 times. I know. Please help me, God. I'm just a person. Please, I got to do this next. Okay. So that's generally, if I give you a snapshot of my world, like, yeah, but I'm just me. I'm the same person that I see in my pictures when I was 10 years old. And the Lord has to continue to speak over us. Listen, this is who I've called you to be beyond what you think. And it's not just for you, and it doesn't just impact you. The whole heaven and earth has to respond to this truth that I have released from my being. That's you. God is true. His word is true. His word is truth. Everything else is outside of truth. So when he released his word over you, and he released his voice and created you as one of his anointed sons and daughters, then that was truth that remains in the earth. And the earth has to respond to that truth. So I see this very clearly here in Joshua chapter 9, because Joshua has all of these things happening even before Joshua chapter 1, where Moses is the leader over the people. And we understand how Pharaoh had all the plagues happening with him because he hardened his heart. And then we know that they came through the Red Sea, and then all the miracles that happened in the wilderness were just amazing. They still are. They amaze us. Can you imagine something as small but great as water coming out of a rock? You know, some movies or cartoons may show it like a little spigot, you know. But when you really consider how many people had to partake of that water, and not just people, but animals, livestock too. This had to be some kind of a rock, and this had to be some kind of a gush of water, because it wasn't as though the people had to wait for a spigot. Have you ever been outside in the backyard or the front yard and just open up a spigot of water and try to fill, I don't know, a water pot, or just let it, whatever you're doing, a bucket, because you got to wash the car? It takes a minute. Well, that's just for washing of a car, a bucket. What about the fact that this is thousands of people? They're going to have to wait days upon days upon days, weeks, for that little spigot of water to just feed all of them, to give them all what they need. It was not just a little spigot. So when you see water here, read that. That's not a small thing. You have a rock that's just sitting there, and the Lord is two times, allows for them to experience this miraculous thing. How much water do you think that is? Whoa. So these are miracles that are affecting the people. And Moses, his faith and his position in God, his love for God, his honor of God, his obedience in God, and everything that he is as a prophet of God, a man of God, great and meek. He's following the Lord in faith, in great faith, to the extent that the people experience major things. No matter where they are in their faith, no matter their disobedience, they're still experiencing God to great degrees. The cloud by day and the fire by night. This right here is major. The manna, right? So now we have Joshua. Joshua's leading the people, and now he's carrying out what God told Moses. This is what you guys are coming in this land to do, and I'm going to have you inherit a land that you did not work for, you didn't labor for, but I'm going to have you come into this land that's flowing with milk and honey, and you're going to have to conquer these lands and clear it out, and then it's going to be yours. It's going to be yours. So right as Joshua is taking the torch, the Lord tells him, hey, listen, be strong and of good courage. Of a good courage. And so I come over here to Joshua chapter 9, and the top of chapter 9 verse 1, it says, and it came to pass when all the kings which were on this side Jordan, in the hills and in the valleys and in the coast of the great sea, over against Lebanon, the Hittite and the Amorite, the Canaanite and the Perizzite, the Hivite and the Jebusite, heard thereof. What are they hearing? What are they hearing? They're hearing about everything that Moses had accomplished with the people, and now Joshua being the leader, they're hearing about these things. They heard thereof, that they gathered themselves together to fight with Joshua and with Israel with one accord. Look, I know this is one nation, but we all of the people, we need to come together. We cannot let this great people overtake us. We need to come together. We may not have been together before. Now we need to come together, because the people of Israel, we've heard some really great things, and we cannot succumb to whatever's happening over here. We cannot yield to that. We can't be subject to that. We have to win. We have to fight. So they gathered themselves together to fight with Joshua, with Israel, and with Israel with one accord. And when the inhabitants of Gibeon heard what Joshua had done to Jericho and Ai, wait a minute. I know you all are saying we need to fight and we need to protect ourselves. But do you know Jericho? Like, do you understand? Ai, do you know these people? The Gibeonites had a different idea. So they did work wilily and went and made as if they had been ambassadors, and took old sacks upon their asses, and wine bottles, old and rent and bound up, old shoes and clouded upon their feet, old garments upon them, and all the bread of their provision was dry and moldy. And they went to Joshua, and they went and convinced them, hey, we're from a far country. We don't know the people that you're about to conquer. We're further out. We want to be your servants. Can you agree with us? Look at our stuff. Look, we've traveled from far. You see what we have. Look at our clothing. We just really, we don't want nothing to do with all that. We want to serve you. We're on your side. We submit to whatever. We come up under your authority, because we understand all the great things that your God, the great I am, has spoken over you, and we see evidence it through everything that has happened. We know there's power there, and it's beyond the natural. It's something supernatural going on with you guys, and we submit to it. So Gibeon did that, and then they found out, like, why did you do this? Hey, listen, we don't want anything to do with that. So well, there's a curse over you. Now you and your people are going to be servants forever. That's fine. Just spare our lives. So then all the other nations found out, and they got upset. This is chapter 10. Now it came to pass, when Adonizedek, king of Jerusalem, had heard how Joshua had taken Ai and had utterly destroyed it, as he had done Jericho and her king, so he had done to Ai and her king, and how the inhabitants of Gibeon had made peace with Israel and were among them, that they feared greatly because of Gibeon. Watch this. They feared greatly because Gibeon was a great city, as one of the royal cities, and because it was greater than Ai, and all the men thereof were mighty. Wait, this right here, verse 2, really identifies what actually happened. The Gibeonites were not a small people. They were not feeble, though it kind of seems like that when they're first introduced. No, the people, these nations that Verse 3 is going to name next with Adonizedek, king of Jerusalem, Horem, king of Hebron, all these kings that are going to come together and fight against Gibeon, because they're like, wait a minute, you cannot betray all of this land. You can't do that. But one thing that they're saying is, wait, I need help. Adonizedek is saying, I need help to come against Gibeon, because they're a great city. They're royal cities. They're one of the, what you see what it says? They're one of the royal cities, greater than Ai. If Gibeon, who was greater, so Joshua just conquered Jericho and Ai. Those are great cities, great areas, strong, mighty people. And Joshua was able to, and all these people were able to, man, this was not natural. This was not natural. There's something greater happening. So Gibeon understood that even though they were greater, this right here is outlining the fact that the nations understood the status of the different nations around them, the cities around them. They understood. And so they're saying, wait, Gibeon was a greater city than Ai. So they went to try to fight against them. And we need help. We need help. Okay. So they lost. But consider what just happened here. Consider what just happened. These people, you would think that Gibeon, in all of their might, would have said, well, I'm greater. We are greater than Ai. We are royal cities. We do this. You would think that they would have the strength and the courage within them to come against Joshua and the children of Israel. That would have been the mindset. That's the mindset of the other kings. But this city, Gibeon, they're greater than Ai. So the others are saying, wait a minute. What? Gibeon should not have been afraid like that. What is going on? We need to bind together. If a nation, a city of people as great as the Gibeonites are going to yield, okay, well then we can't do this by ourselves, because something greater is happening. What we see here with the children of Israel is that as they're serving God, and I'm just going to highlight Joshua because we know that the people, the Hebrews, they went back and forth. We know that they struggled, but they have a strong leader, one whom God spoke over him, be strong and of good courage. Not in your own strength. I'm releasing my power over you. I'm releasing my favor over you. I'm releasing my strength over you. I am releasing my authority over you. Heaven and earth has to listen to you. The same chapter 10 that I'm in is the same chapter as Joshua is fighting these nations, that the Lord is recorded here, that the Lord hearkened to Joshua's voice and commanded the sun and the moon to stand still for a whole day, so that Joshua can continue to defeat these people and fulfill the purposes of God. Oh man, he must be in league with the stones. Heaven and earth, the sun and the moon have to obey his voice. He is the essence of God here, responding to the essence of God, going to God in supplication, asking that the moon and the sun, they stand still. And now they defeat all these nations who were not humble enough like the Gibeonites. And yet the Gibeonites were greater than these. And they said, whoa, the power of God on this man of God's life, it is so great that we don't have the strength in order to stand up against it. We can be bold, we can be ignorant, we can be dumb, we can think that we have enough magicians and wise men in our midst to come against these people, but no, we've heard of all the things, and they are not just circumstances and events that have happened. When God's finger, when his hand was moving in the lives of the Hebrews, the children of Israel, that was a release of God's power, his voice. That was a shaking of the earth. The release of his power was a release of the fear of God. Gibeon understood, wait, these supernatural things are affecting our world and anyone else's world supernaturally if you don't come up under the authority. If whoever has not submitted, it's not just Joshua. It is the God that they serve. It's apparent. Joshua, And Moses, their testimonies, the children of Israel, their testimonies are releasing volumes of movement, of communication. It's releasing an echo effect of power so that the nations and those who are hearing of the testimony, their minds have to change. Their perspective has to change. They, at least the Gibeonites, had it in them. They had to come down. They had to come down. Oh man, there's miracles here. That is not possible. No way. They defeated Jericho and Ai. Wait, Gibeon submitted to them? Oh man, there's something powerful at work, more mighty than what we know how to do in the natural. They, the other nations, they responded the wrong way. And yet they still understood there's a power at work. That's why they decided to try to pull together to come up with more strength and more natural power against them, which they still could not stand up against. Could not. The nations will know the name of the Lord by the power of God in your life. Isn't that what happened? Isn't that what happened? As you and I exalt the Lord, that's what Joshua and Moses are doing. As we exalt the Lord, as we serve the Lord, as we stand in God, as we trust him, as we raise our faith in him, as we allow for our testimonies to keep going forward of God's mighty hand at work, he says, be still, know that I'm God. You only be strong, only courageous. I'm letting you know that's what I've released over you. You may have some things in your life, in your body, in your mind, in your emotions, in your circumstances that seem and feel and are very natural. But I want to let you know, I'm a God of truth. I am a supernatural God. God is a spirit. And as I have released you from my spirit, you are me. I am you. Yeah. You got to raise up faith to believe that. As you move in the earth, I'm moving. You gotta raise up your faith to believe that. Because you have to go beyond the natural that you see, the natural that you feel, the natural that you think. You have to go beyond what's happening in your natural circumstances to understand, wait, no, God is moving and I just have to trust his move. I just have to be in alignment with what he's doing. I just have to have faith that God is, and I'm a part of that. I'm a part of that. So as Joshua's going forward, as a youth, he experienced what Moses was releasing through his faith and allowing the children of Israel to experience. And now Joshua, as a man of God in charge of all these people, he too now has to maintain his faith. As the Lord presses in and presses over him, presses into him, this word of truth, Joshua has to go forward in it. And now the nations, they shake at the knowledge of who God's people are. Because they see the testimonies, they've heard of them, and those great testimonies of God's hand, they are raising power. They are speaking of God's great might over his people, and they are causing the people to submit to it. That's what God is saying to you today. He's telling us, listen, as you serve God, his glory is so expansive over you. He defends you, yes. But his glory, as you align in your faith, it's so much more than you think. He is so much more than you think. He's causing those around you, not just people, but nations of people and the earth. Remember Joshua, sun stand still. The heavens, they declare the righteousness of God. Your faith coming in alignment with the righteousness of God is going to cause all of heaven and earth to testify that God is reigning over your life, and they have to submit to that. He's doing that in your life today. And as you submit to God more and more, you submit to God more and more, you have faith in God more and more, whether you know it or not, whether you see it today or not, you're going to see it. You're going to see the response of the earth. You're going to see the response of heaven. You're going to see the testimonies of God just lining up on your behalf. His hand at work more and more. You're gonna have them. I encourage you to write them down. Put them in your phone. Tell somebody. And that may feel or seem prideful. And if you know and there's a pride for me to tell somebody that's fine. Write it down. Collect your testimonies. Watch them increase. Know that you're not the only one that sees it. Everything in your atmosphere is bearing witness that that's God's hand in your life. You can be on a grocery aisle all by yourself and something happened and nobody there. But every part of your atmosphere is bearing witness that, oh man, that was the Lord. Your life is a living testimony. And as the angelic hosts, the principalities, the heavenlies, the whole earth, animate and inanimate objects, they're witnessing your life as a blazing life of testimony unto God. They can't help but to submit to it. Though royal, though great, though major in their territorial areas, they have to come under subjection to the power of God in your life. You may not see it today, but it's happening today. And as you continue to pursue God, it's going to continue to happen. It's going to increase. And you're going to see yourself come into the more of God as the earth is responding to you according to who you are in God and according to who he is. This is major. This is exciting. So I pray that the Lord bless you as you take on this truth. This is true. It may not be true for everyone. I say that because everyone is not going to believe God on these levels, and everyone is not serving the Lord on the levels that you may be. But as you do, watch God. Stand still and know he's God, and he's commanding you to be strong and of good courage. He's releasing power over you to be that, and he is commissioning you to raise your faith so that you can walk in it for all the days of your life. In Jesus' name, God bless you.